I thank the representative of China for his statement, and I now invite Indonesia to take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam President. Let me begin, like others also, to thank you for convening this annual briefing on United Nations Police or UNPOL. I also would like to thank the ASG Alexander Zvev, and of course all the police commissioners from UNMIS, MINUSCA, MINUSMA, and BINU for their insightful briefing, which bring experience from the field. I wanted very much to participate in this debate, not only because Indonesia has always put priorities on peacekeeping and peacekeeper, including police peacekeeper, but I also wanted to hear news from the ground and also interact with many of the police commissioners that we see here today. Because once again, police peacekeeping is an important points and works of the Security Council. Now, as we mark the 60th anniversary of UNPOL this year, I first of all would like to salute all police peacekeeper men and women for their service and dedication in peacekeeping and special political mission around the world. We also would like to pay tribute to the many fallen peacekeepers who serve with honors and ultimate sacrifice to advance the cause of peace. Indonesia takes pride as a long-standing and major contributors of UNPOL. Since our first police participation in UNTAC, Namibia, started in 1989, we have deployed more than 2,700 police officers in 17 peacekeeping and special political missions. Currently, we have 307 Indonesian police officers serving in 5 peacekeeping missions, namely MINUSCA, MINUSMA, MONUSCO, UNAMID, and of course UNMIS. Now, let me make some general observation on the role of UNPOL, followed by some questions to the briefers. The first one is the increasing role and contribution of UNPOL to peacekeeping operations. Today, the role of UNPOL has expanded vastly, which include assisting host countries in maintaining security, law and order, protecting civilians, combating crime, and building the capacity of police service. With the increasing complexity of conflict and challenges faced by peacekeeping mission, the role of UNPOL will be even more important. This requires better planning and coordination, more efficient recruitment and deployment process, as well as stronger institutional support for UNPOL. The growing task and role of UNPOL must also be supported with adequate and sustainable financial resources. Furthermore, as peacekeepers are confronting more dangerous environment, more efforts should also be done to ensure their safety and security, particularly in time of COVID. The Secretariat should redouble its efforts to improve protection capacity and medical facilities in the missions. I also would like to underline that the role of UNPOL is also to ensure that there is proper transition in policing to the host country. Peacekeeping should move to peace building as we progress. The second point I would like to underline is enhancing performance and professionalism of UNPOL. To effectively discharge their mandate, it is vital that police peacekeepers are well trained and well protected. These trainings are crucial not only to prepare peacekeepers to carry out their task professionally, but also to engage with the local population through effective community-oriented policing. We believe in community engagement. We in Indonesia also train our police officers with specialized expertise, such as forensic, investigation, serious and organized crime, sexual and gender-based violence, as well as public order management. We stand ready to deploy them as part of specialized police team or SPT in various missions. The third point is women participation in UNPOL. In line with the recently adopted Resolution 2538, we need to continue our collective efforts to increase women's participation in peacekeeping, including police women. We are pleased to note that targets have been achieved in increasing the number of women personnel, both as individual police officers, IPO, and as part of formed police unit, FPU. At the same time, we believe there are still plenty of room for improvement in order to ensure better participation of women in peacekeeping. On our part, Indonesia focused on investing in training and capacity building. Early next year, Indonesia and Norway will organize a training to prepare Indonesian women police for deployment. Indonesia will also host the annual training conference of the International Association of Women Police in Yogyakarta, September of next year. Now, allow me to briefly ask several questions to all police commissioners. My question, firstly, is related to mandate. Based on your experience on the ground, what aspect of the mandate related to UNPOL that needs to be strengthened and focused? Are the missions supported with the necessary and adequate resources to carry out their tasks? And what can the Council do to address the issue? My second question is about women in peacekeeping. As you are aware, Resolution 2538 also calls for the provision of enabling safe and gender-sensitive working environment for women peacekeepers in the missions. Could you share with us the measures that have been taken in your respective mission to provide enabling environment for women officers? What is your recommendation on increasing the participation and role of women peacekeepers? Because all the police commissioners know what's happening in the ground more than us here in the Council. So any inputs, you can't make a policies without knowing what's happening from the ground, and we certainly would love to hear what's your view on this. Now, noting that there are many questions that has been asked today, I fully support the proposal of the A3+1, which was read by our Tunisian brother, on the request for the UN Secretariat to come up with a report in 2021 on the work of UNPOL. I would like to add that the report should also reflect progress on implementation in line with Resolution 2538 on women peacekeepers, with particular focus on efforts to increase the numbers and performance of women police peacekeepers. So if could that be included in the report, and that will hopefully be done in 2021, we will certainly appreciate it. And to conclude, Madam President, let me once again reaffirm our commitment to provide our full support for police peacekeeping. Rest assured that Indonesia, as the largest TPCC in the current membership of the Council, will continue to support the Blue Beret. And once again, thank you very much for all the police peacekeepers in the field for the excellent job they have done thus far. Thank you, Madam President.
I thank Indonesia for his statement and questions, and I now invite Vietnam to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Vietnam welcomed this timely briefing during the 15th